Right, it's been another fantastic week. Very busy at work, busy with fishing, everything's just going really well at the moment, and thanks to you guys for watching. Really appreciate the support on the channel so far. Quick update for you. On the channel front, the app was in full development. It got tested, it went to Google Play, it was then being waited. I was waiting for approval from iTunes, and then I pulled it. I just wasn't happy with it. I was happy with the way it worked and the way that it looked, but I just wasn't quite happy with the way it's been pitched and what the key benefits are. So that's kind of gone back to the drawing board a little bit. It's a long way down the road of being developed and finished. I'll not bore you with the details, but it's definitely still on its way, and you'll be the first to find out. No match last weekend. As a lot of you saw from the footage, I had a day coaching with Daz and Mick on Saturday. Lads, if you're watching, great day, thanks for that. Anybody what didn't see the footage from it, the link's below for you, just for your interest. On Sunday I had some work to do, but I managed to get out with Dad for a few hours on the bank, and I got a great opportunity to do something I haven't done for a long time, and that's use a rod that I've never used before, one of the Matrix range. It was the Carp Master. I know some of the top Matrix lads use them on commercials, and basically here's a bit of footage. But when you're fishing a lot of matches like what we do, you know, a lot of them are high profile matches, and you want to win every match that you're in. I don't feel as though I really want to be trying out new rods and stuff in those competitions, because I really want to stick to what I'm confident in using. I've got a few hours spare. It's Sunday afternoon, and I've got one or two things to do at home and stuff. But I managed to get out on the bank, and I've just got a new rod. Actually, it's it's a Matrix Carp Master. It's one of the rods that I think maybe Les Thompson uses, and I don't know if Andy Geldart uses one as well. But it's not one that I've used because I've never really had the fish the venues that have suited that rod. You know, I've always got away with the S-Class and obviously the Legend and the Horizon for the big chucks. So it's a 10-foot version, this one, and it's just something I've been dying to try out. I mean, a lot of 10-foot rods are obviously suited to a certain way of fishing, obviously short range, but when you're fishing a method, you can get away with a shorter rod anyway. This, if anyone's interested, that's the code number and everything on it. This is the 10-foot version. I'm just going to have 2 or 3 hours with this today. It's going to be hard anyway. It's really hot, sunny day. Well, it's not hot at the minute, but it's going to get warmer. Really cold overnight. But like I said, this is the 10-foot version. Comes with the usual spreader block, and I've really been looking forward to trying it. I don't think the carp are really going to feed today. It's a little bit cold, and when I'm casting, I'm probably going to be casting over to a far bank, but I'm not going to go tight across because it's cold. I'm going to come down the slope a little bit. Like I say, it's 10-foot version, this one. Should be just nice, with a nice 4,000 reel on. Tip wise, I believe this is the first time I've had it out of the bag, this, so I want to get my facts right for you. 2 tips, comes in their own little tube. 2 tips, nice big eyes on here, which I love, and it comes with, it's got a 1 ounce glass tip and a 1.5 ounce carbon tip. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it. I think today there's no wind or anything. I'm going to be chucking it's about 30 metres I think across to where I'm going to be casting, so I'm just going to use the 1 ounce glass tip just to see what it's like, see what the balance of the rod's like. So yeah, hopefully we get a few fish to try it out, but yeah, it's nice to try a new kit out, isn't it? So let's see if we can get a few fish.
I'm really getting on with the rods. You've probably seen that, that I've had a few carp now. Like I say, I've got the 1 ounce glass tip in that, and like I say, it'll be interesting to see what the 1.5 ounce carbon tip will be like in there. But yeah, I'm catching a few carp, little stockies and stuff. The interesting thing's been, I started on a method feeder, just on one of the evolution ones, and I was going just, you know, about 2 meters off that far bank, and I was getting loads of indications, but I couldn't turn them into fish. So I've kind of unclipped and worked my way up that slope, and I still carried on getting indications. I think there was just that many small fish around there. They weren't necessarily bothered about the wafter and that I was fishing with. So what I've done is I've switched to a pellet, a 6mm banded pellet, one of the Carp and Course ones, and I'm just putting Carp and Course 2mm through, but I've actually switched to a pellet feeder. And I think the great thing with a pellet feeder is there's only one way into it. You know, with a method feeder, you can see that the fish can access those pellets all the way around, and sometimes it can be a little bit messy. It's made such a difference. It's been unbelievable. I'm casting tight across now, and with that rod, it's really nice. But yeah, I'm going to try it with a 1.5 ounce carbon tip next, just to see what that's like. But that's what these days are about, trying little bits of kit out. But yeah, it's definitely a lovely little rod, that 10-foot Carp Master. I'm going to be using that a lot this year. So especially on some of the commercials that I'll be fishing in the Feeder Master qualifiers and that sort of stuff. So yeah, top job, Matrix. Another one, another weapon for the toolbox.
So yeah, as you saw, I caught quite a few fish. Really enjoyed it, especially this time of year. It was great to see the carp waking up, and that was a perfect session, a perfect peg and everything to really put that rod through its paces. So I'm not sure if they're still in production at the moment, or whether that's going to be part of the new range that's coming out later on in the year. I'll keep you posted with that, but for the meantime, that is a rod that I'm definitely going to be using over the next few weeks. Right, I've had a few questions coming today, so I'll crack on straight away with those. And so the first question was, people have heard me talk about searching the bottom, looking for features, looking for hard bits, soft bits, and all that sort of stuff. The only key thing I can say about this is, if you can imagine, it's practice on the bank in a nutshell. You've got a nice weighted bomb on there, 30-40 gram minimum, and it's basically down to, when you cast the bomb out, you put your finger on the line. As it hits the bottom, that's the first point that you really should pay attention to. If you can imagine, I'll give you a nice simple scenario, a nice heavy bomb like that. Imagine it hitting a nice soft bottom. Okay, if it was falling in silt, when you cast your bomb out, tighten up to the bomb as it drops through the water. When it hits the bottom, if it comes back slowly, like that, that would naturally suggest that it's fallen on something soft and it's slowly sinking into it. So that means it'll be a really slow, or a slower, pull back on the tip. Okay, so that would suggest it's fallen on something soft, which would suggest silt or debris or whatever. If it fell on something hard, imagine something like that falling on, say, concrete or something, or glass, it would be a really solid, quick drop back on the tip. You know, to hit the bottom and drop straight back. That would suggest it's harder. I can't really explain it more than that, other than, if you understand those two initial basics, just get out on the bank and try it. It's easier to do with braid because it's direct. With mono, it's a little bit more difficult because of the sponginess and the stretchiness, in the actual mono itself. And that's just basically it. Obviously, once the bomb's hit the bottom, you can then start twitching it and dragging it back towards you, and that'll give you a reading of what it's like on the bottom. Again, if it's really smooth, or it's really soft, that is, and the tip's pulling round to the bomb and it's dragging, that would suggest it's dragging in something. But if it's just bouncing back like that, that would suggest that it's a solid or a harder bottom. That's really all I can say to you. Once you understand that, get out of the bank and try it, and it's just practice. Next one really stemmed from the Larford Silverfish Festival. A lot of lads saw that I fed with a big cage at the start, and I fed one line heavy. There's no one answer to it. It's about knowing the venue, it's about the time of year, it's about experience, and it's about the range that you're fishing, and it's about the species that you're after. There's no one answer to that. In that particular scenario, I fed heavy on that short line because I believe when fish come in, especially later on in the match on commercials, they're coming in to feed. Simple as that. So I wanted to give them some food there for them to settle on, ready for when I went on that line after a couple of hours. That's why I fed that area heavy. I fed the long line negative because I was going to start on that line. So I didn't want to pile loads of gear in on that long line and then spend an hour or two there waiting, for something to find the bait. I wanted to catch quickly on that and build it up as the session went on, whilst the short line settled. Simple as that, really. Next one was mixing the ground bait the night before. Right, I'll be honest with this. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't care what you think about me. I initially started doing this years ago, and I didn't do it because I had a massive understanding of ground baits. I did it because I wanted to give myself more time to prepare and get my kit ready once I was on the bank at the match. That's all it was. I did it so that it gave me more time to set up at the peg, and yeah, I got quite a lot of results doing that. And looking back, I honestly believe that was because I was more cool, calm and collect, because I had loads of time to set up, I could get everything right. And yeah, that is true. That's a massive part of my fishing. I like time to set up and make sure everything's spot on before the start of the match. But obviously looking back, some of that was down to because the ground bait was inert. You know, it had a chance to soak up the water, it was dead, and I caught better fish doing that. So it's a mixture of both. The only thing I can say to you, it's a bit of a friendly word of warning. Over the years I've used loads of different brands of ground bait. Obviously now most people know I'm with Bait Tech, but I've used lots of brands over the years, and one thing I've just got to point out to you is there are 1 or 2 fish meal mixes out there that I've used in the past. I've mixed them the night before, sealed them in an airtight bag just like I always do, and when I've got to the bank I've undone the bag and I've opened them, and I've kind of sensed that the ground bait has been off, or it's gone off a little bit. You could just tell with the smell. Doesn't happen with all mixers, but a couple of the mixers I've used that has happened. So things like that really knock my confidence. I want that ground bait to be spot on, or how I think it should be, and when it's smelling a little bit off I don't like that. So just something to be careful of. I'm not saying the ground bait was off, all I'm saying is a lot of using ground bait is confidence, and if something like that happens on the morning of a match, you want to be 100%, you know, absolutely 100% certain and confident in that mix that you've got, that it's mixed right. So just a word of warning. So yeah, night before to make it inert. If I'm fishing for roach or active fish and I want it more active, I'll mix it on the morning when I get to my peg. And the final question was, now if I've misinterpreted this I do apologise. I believe when it talks about feed a sleeve, I think it means one of those. It's one of the Matrix sleeves that a lot of you will have seen and used, and it's one of these. This is it in the flesh. Basically it's a sleeve that you thread onto your main line. Get rid of that. Onto your main line or your shock leader, and basically it's to protect your line or your shock leader from the force of a swivel going onto it when you have to punch either a long, you know, a heavy weight a long way, or just a heavy weight basically. It's a brilliant design. It's something that has come along long before I was at Matrix, and just for you guys that haven't seen it before, basically you thread it onto your line or your mono. As you can see, it goes down the middle, and at the end it actually comes supplied with a swivel, a double barrel swivel. So at the end, that's it, and in the end there is a swivel, a double barrel swivel, as you can see there, and that is where you attach your hook length. The twin barrel swivel there stops or helps reduce line twist like that. That sits neatly in there, and basically it's a free running feeder rig. So on the line would be your swivel with your feeder or your bomb on, and that slides over it and it sits like that, which I think is brilliant. The added feature is, because of the design of where the swivel sits, it causes that bottom end and the swivel section to kick out, as you can see, and that helps reduce tangles. So that kicks out there, your hook length's on there, and that just stops, you know, it just spreads out the force and the weight of the swivel and the weight that's attached to the swivel when you have to cast a long way or a big weight. So in answer to the question, I use that when I'm casting when I'm having to cast 3-4 ounce or whatever, if I'm on a river, or if I've got to cast 40 gram, 50 gram or whatever a long way on a still water, I use that. But on my other rig, when I'm fishing other rigs, shorter range free running rigs, I just like a twizzle. I like to keep things really nice and simple. So hopefully that answers that question. And the last part tonight is just really about the Northern Angling Show. This channel, since it started a year ago, whatever it was, all we've done is get questions about tactics, about bait and tattle. These shows, I never ever used to go to these shows until I fully understood their benefits. Basically, they are a great opportunity for you guys and people that watch these videos, and people who live in areas that don't have the luxury of a great tattle shop locally. It's a great opportunity to go along just to see all this kit, to see the tattle that we're using, and the baits as well. And you know, I mean, this particular one on Saturday, I'm at the Northern Angler Show on Saturday. I'm only there one day this year, and that's obviously on Saturday because I've said it 3 times. And it's at Manchester, so you know, if you're in the north of England, it's a perfect opportunity. What I'll do is I'll put the link below for you if anybody's interested, just so you can get tickets. I think they might be cheaper if you get them in advance as opposed to on the door on the day, so the link's below for you. Matrix have got a stand there, and so have Bait Tech. Not that I don't want to insult your intelligence, but there's the floor plan, there's the entrance, and as you come down, that is the Matrix stand, which is stand number, and that one is the Bait Tech one, and that is stand. Okay, Matrix are going to have all the new kit. They're going to have existing kit that you've all seen, that you see me using now. There's also a lot of the kit out there that's coming out, you know, over the next few weeks. I've had to write loads of these down because I can't remember them all. The S36 boxes there, the orange one, I know a lot of you have asked about that. We've got the 2-wheel transporter, which I've only seen once myself, but I'll definitely be getting one of those myself. Great bit of kit for obviously a lot of the venues we go to now. A, they're either a long walk, or B, we're carrying way too much tattle anyway, so that's obviously a great bit of kit for that. What else we've got? We've got the offset leg, which means on the commercials where you've got narrower platforms, we've all had this problem, especially if you like using a large side tray. You know, once the legs are down on a large side tray, it doesn't always fit onto the platform. This inverted leg, if you want to call it that, but I mean the official name is offset leg, basically means that you can still load that tray up but still have the full support of the leg which is actually on the platform. Brilliant little, something that often gets overlooked, but it's very, very important to a lot of people, especially, you know, those that specialise on certain commercials. And we've got the big bore toss pots as well for the pole anglers, so I didn't know about those until a few days ago, so they'll be good to see. I haven't seen those myself yet. So yeah, that's the Matrix stand. As regards Bait Tech, they're going to have all the existing ground baits that a lot of you have heard me talk about for the last 12 months. We've also got those 3 main new ones that I'm going to be using over the next few weeks. You've got the Special G Dark, which I've been banging on about for weeks now, and catching fish with, I might add. There's the Pro Feeder, which I haven't used in any of my videos yet, but I certainly will be, and the Pro Feeder Dark, which is a dark version of that. So just come along, we're going to be there, we're going to have the drills there, we're going to have the buckets there, we're going to be mixing the ground bait up, you're going to get a chance to have a look at it, squeeze it into balls, mess around with it, smell it, just see it in the flesh. Just a great opportunity for you to come along, just have a look at all the kit. Obviously you get a chance to meet all the lads as well, meet people that are using this kit week in, week out, and been getting results with it. And you know, it's just great to say hello to a lot of you that watch these videos. So that's on Saturday, I'm there Saturday, and obviously, but the other lads are there on Sunday as well. So there's a full weekend there. I don't know what the weather forecast is like, so you know, if it's anything like it has been today, then you're not really going to be missing anything on the bank anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to ramble anymore. It's Thursday night, it's Friday tomorrow. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I really hope that I get a chance to see some of you at the show on Saturday. It'd be great to shake your hand and just say hello and thank you personally for all the support for the channel. So whatever you're up to, have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you all real soon.